Hey everyone, welcome back to the range. My name is Matt, also known as the Ammo Nerd. We have an ammunition review today in one of my favorite calibers, 9mm or 9x19 or 9mm parabellum. This is from MaxxTech. This is a 124 grain full metal jacket. Let's throw this guy on the table and talk about what we're gonna do today. Now I'll have to choose my words very carefully, otherwise YouTube may take this video down because they aren't the smartest at times. But in full transparency, True Shot sent over this ammunition for us to review with no strings attached. For our 9mm testing, we have a wide array of barrel lengths from 3 inches all the way up to and including 16. After we've collected our velocity and just a general reliability, I've got about 500 rounds of this, so we'll try to get 200 to 300 in a range session. We'll look for any cracked necks or pierced primers or bulge cases, anything out of the normal. We'll try to report that. After we've done that, we'll step out to around 25 yards to collect a practical accuracy out of our handgun and our PCC, and then we'll send you on your merry way. We have our Pro Chronopal Digital DLX as always, as well as our Garmin Zero C1. That's the little Doppler radar chronograph. We got that from Cabela's/Bash Pro Shops. We start all of our reviews off with our shortest barrel length. This is our Springfield Hellcat. This has a 3-inch barrel. I've thought about picking up a SIG P365 at some point to see how those are. Wow, those are pretty spicy for a 124 grain. Now on to Mr. Tried and True. This is our 4-inch Glock 19 Gen 4 MOS with the factory RDS cut up top. Now onto our 4.5-inch barrel. This is our Palmetto State Armory Dagger. This is a factory 4.5-inch threaded barrel. This is pretty much a Glock 19 Gen 3 clone. Now we step up to our 6-inch. This is our UTAS Mini 9. Not too bad for a little PCC PDW, not the most reliable. It's gotten better as I've put in more rounds down range, but it feels like there's just a few things they left off of this to complete it. It doesn't have a dust cover on the ejection port side, but it has the provisions for one. It's pretty much straight blowback, so there's a giant reciprocating mass in there. A little harsh on the recoil if you ask me. Now we get into my favorite PCC or PDW in 9mm. This is our CZ Scorpion EVO 3 S1 SBR. Very soft recoiling gun. Nice, good function there. 1,300 feet per second, wowzers. And finally, Mr. Super Long. This is our Palmetto State Armory ARV9. It runs off of our CZ EVO or ARV9 magazines. It's straight blowback, fairly robust design. The only thing I don't like is the ejection port side is a slick side, so there's no brass deflector there. And because I'm left-handed, a lot of those bits like to hit me in the face. almost 1,400 feet per second. We have seen faster on the channel, but for an import European spec 9mm, it's not doing too shabby. Here is our MaxxTech 124 grain 9mm at 7 yards using the 4-inch Glock from a bench with a bag. Our first group 0.890 inches, very respectable. Our second group had a little flyer there at 1.436 inches. Typically, if I get anything under 1.5 inches with 9mm, I consider that better than average. As a comparison, here's some 10mm that we shot on the same day, some MaxxTech from a 4 1/4 and a 5-inch barrel at about 1.5 inches, and some AAC 180 grain at about the same with a good one at 0.988. Here's our MaxxTech at 25 yards using the ARV-9 from a bench with just a bag today and the standard Romeo 5 red dot. Our first group was 1.434 inches. Our second group was a little better at 1.061, and then our third group immediately after 1.380 inches. These are just some flyers from other testing. I would consider that very good for a plinking load in a full metal jacket. Well, folks, color me impressed. The velocities from our MaxxTech loading exceeded what we were getting on the same day from our RWS control. That's simply amazing. We didn't have any pierced primers, cracked necks, or separated case heads, or any kind of defects with the brass we noticed. I can never really comment on the cleanliness or dirtiness of some of the ammunition because I usually fire a lot of rounds through my test guns, and I usually only clean them if I get any kind of stoppages, but I didn't see anything out of the ordinary as far as brass dirtiness goes, and I didn't have any weird, puff smokiness or something when we were shooting it. As far as our precision goes, again, with our full metal jacket pistol loads, if I'm seeing under 1.5 inches at 25 yards from our PCC, I consider that pretty much par for the course. Normally our jacketed hollow points are what get us those sub 1 inch groups. With all that being said, it's time for me to get the heck out of here, but at the end of all my videos, I take a moment to thank all those who help make this possible, because there's a lot that goes into them. Number one is my family. Deacon would like to remind you all to like, subscribe, and share so we can get that algorithm helping the channel get recommended and get some more views and subscribers. Number two are my Patreon, Subscribestar, and YouTube channel members. I have a campsite in the description below. It's a landing page, and there's different affiliate codes and discount tracking links in there that cost you nothing, and they earn me a sales commission. And what I do with that is I put it right back in the channel. There is one in there for a true shot, and what I do with that funds is either I'm going to buy like longer barrels or different types of firearms, or even sometimes testing equipment. So when we get these requests to do these, we have that wide data set so that you guys can make better buying decisions. Number three is True Shot. Again, in full transparency, send us that ammunition to review with no strings attached. And of course, number four is you all for watching. Until next time, I'll catch you at the range.